is the Bctv local and African news summary for Friday, October 17th. The African Development Bank is urging Liberia to adopt stronger domestic revenue mobilization, tighter governance and anti-corruption, investment in capital, and diversification beyond raw exports. Following the dismissal of the top leadership of the National Public Health Institute, Liberian lawmaker Musa Belade has warned that governance must be guided by openness, accountability, and respect for institutional integrity. The African Union has suspended Madagascar with immediate effect following Tuesday's military coup that ousted President Andre Rajoelina. The Liberia Immigration Service, the LIS, is warning all officers to stay clear of political activities. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the LIS Commissioner General Colonel Elijah Rufus reminded officers that political discussions, campaigns, or affiliations are strictly prohibited under the LIS Act of 2016 and the Services Code of Conduct. The administration says neutrality and professionalism are key to maintaining public trust and warns that violators will face disciplinary actions, including suspension or dismissal. The African Development Bank, the ADB 2025 Country Focus Report, says Liberia's economy stayed on track in 2024, with real GDP up 4.8% and inflation easing to 8.1%. Growth is projected at 5.3% in 2025-2026, led by mining and agriculture, though forecasts were trimmed slightly due to tariff effects. Fiscal deficit is seen widening to 3.5% in 2025. Public debt stands around 57% of the GDP, and the current account deficit near 24% of the GDP. The ADB urges stronger domestic revenue mobilization, tighter governance and anti-corruption measures, investment in capital, and diversification beyond raw exports. Liberian lawmaker Musa Belade has expressed concern over the recent dismissal of senior officials at the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, the NPHIL. In a statement on Wednesday, Belade said, removing professionals from such a vital institution without clear reasons undermines transparency and public trust. He emphasized that the NPHIL plays a key role in disease surveillance and epidemic response, calling on the executive branch to provide a full and honest explanation. Lawmaker Belade warned that governance must be guided by openness, accountability, and respect for institutional integrity. The Liberian president on Wednesday relieved the director of the NPHIL, Dr. Chris Dugbe-Nya, and his deputy, Dr. Adams Lincoln, of their duties for what he called administrative reasons. The action caught Liberians by surprise. In early October, the Civil Service Agency dropped several NPHIL-sponsored scholarship recipients from government payroll. Dr. Yang, a biomedical scientist who has been leading the fight against Mpox disease, wrote the CSA, that's the Civil Service Agency, then to reconsider its action. But latest reports say the board of the NPHIL recommended to the president that the director be relieved of his position due to what it described as gross efficiency. An officer in charge has been appointed at the NPHIL. In more news, the Ministry of Health's Mental Health Unit, with the Margibi County Health Team and Ministry of Education, have trained student peer educators at Lango Lepe High School and the Muslim Training Institute in Kakata The program, launched on Wednesday, October 15th, will form active school health clubs where trained students share accurate information, raise awareness, and support classmates to make healthy choices. It is part of the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education school-based prevention efforts to curb adolescent substance use and create safer learning environments. You're listening to the Bctv News Summary. The African Union has suspended Madagascar with immediate effect following Tuesday's military coup that ousted President Andry Rajoelina. The AU says the suspension will remain until constitutional order is restored. Ironically, Rajoelina himself came to power through a military-backed coup in 2009. The same unit that once supported him has now turned against him, seizing control amidst weeks of youth-led protest over corruption, poverty, and the rising cost of living. Colonel Michael Randrianirina is expected to be sworn in as the transitional president on October 17th, according to a statement by Madagascar's new military rulers. And finally, Africa will have a record presence at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. 9 African nations, South Africa, Egypt, Ghana, Algeria, Senegal, Morocco, Tunisia, Cape Verde, and Ivory Coast have officially qualified for the global football showpiece. A 10th African team could still join through the Intercontinental Playoff. The weather forecast for Friday, October 17th in Tucson, Grand Jita County, eastern Liberia. Expect scattered thunderstorms in the morning, becoming more widespread by afternoon. The high near 87 degrees with light winds and 80% chance of rain. Humidity remains high at 83%, and the ultraviolet index or harmful sun rays will be extreme, so take precautions outdoors. The Liberian dollar closes out the week trading at 183 to 1 United States dollar. To summarize, the African Development Bank is urging Liberia to adopt stronger domestic revenue mobilization, tighter governance and anti-corruption measures, investment in human capital, and diversification beyond raw exports. Following the dismissal of the top leadership of the National Public Health Institute, Liberian lawmaker Musa Bilade has warned that governance must be guided by openness, accountability, and respect for institutional integrity. And the African Union has suspended Madagascar with immediate effect following Tuesday's military coup that ousted President Andry Rajoelina. That's the Bctv News Summary, up to the minute.